right. Evening, everybody. Good evening. What's going on? How you been? It's great to have you here tonight on this first day of December 2023. Oh, you know what? I might as well just... I don't know who takes note of these things, but just so you know, this hoodie that I'm wearing, it's just one of those things where this time of year, there's a couple of top layers I'll go to multiple times a week. It's not dirty. I know you've probably seen it a couple of times this week. I throw it on top of everything else when it's a little bit chillier in here because I don't like putting the heat on too much. Then I start getting nauseous from the heat. So I just want to let you know that, yeah, you'll see this or other ones, but it's clean. I take showers that I wash all my clothes, I promise you. You know, I know, just like, man, he's wearing that again. Yeah, it's just a top layer. It's just a top layer, I promise. Anyway, here we are on a Friday evening at the end of another really, really great week. And I knew last night's show was going to go over really well with a lot of people. I got tremendous feedback, and Barbara Yates said that she's already gotten a lot of emails from people too. And I mean, I got rave reviews from Lauren and everybody, and it's just really refreshing when you get a no-nonsense person on the air. And when I say no-nonsense, not a hard ass, just this is what you're going to get. There's no, it's really great. Barbara's a great person. I can't wait I wish you could come in the studio one day. We'll see what happens. You know, we're all up in the Northeast. You're not too far from everybody else up here. We're all going to get taken out by the same tidal wave eventually one day. So that draws us all together too, us Northeasterners. So I just really enjoyed that. And when you see, like I said last night in closing, when you see a week kind of build up and lead into the larger corpus of work that sometimes you don't even plan for, it's really great to see the flow and the compliments. And, you know, I had somebody saying, you know, after a night of dilly, Barbara Yates was almost like that lemon sorbet to cleanse the palate after the spicy meat, so you can get ready for dessert or something. I forget what it was. It was a palate cleanser in between courses of food comments. I said, that's one way of putting it. I said, yeah. Well, the hot and the cold, the warm and the it's all nice. Anyway, tonight is going to be good. Matt is here. I'll bring him in. He just walked through the door. I'm giving him a chance to settle down. And I just going to bring you guys in for a good portion of tonight's show. The lines are going to be open the whole time because we haven't really been able to do calls a lot this week at all because the guests have gone on a little bit longer. There's a lot to talk about, and I just want to open up the lines. I can hear you can come on with your thoughts, theories, anything that has really set you off this week or anything. It could have to do with the show, the topics the guest brought, or just whatever. If you're bringing a topic out of left field, just make sure that you can put it into a nutshell because we don't have all night. A nice little elevator pitch, and we will ask follow-up questions if necessary and say, oh, well, this is something that people need to know. Speaking of that, I am opening up again just for the hell of it, because the inside information that has been coming in has been wonderful, but I've been putting it into my notes for upcoming shows, especially next week when I have people like Ashton Forbes on to talk about the Malaysian Flight 370, and also when we have Ben Davidson on, Suspicious Observers. There's a lot that's coming up in the next 7 days as far as the booking that we've done over here and the conversations the potential that we have. So I'm going to open up the inside information hotline tonight as well. Again, for those of you who don't know, the hotline's number is 914-369-1236. That is urgent, very, very interesting inside information that only you know, that you are privy to. If you call this line, I will not announce your name and no aspect of your number. And that's it. So you let us know, what's the insider information you have? Did you see, do you know of a deep underground military base that has reopened after many years of being dormant? Did you watch the alien greys open up the front gates? What came through the portal in your backyard? I know some of you have them. Anyhow, you can also call in if you're a remote viewer. I consider that inside information. I have seen the future, and this is what's coming. We have a few remote viewers that are coming on in the next couple of weeks to months, and a lot of it is going to be centered on 2024 and trying to validate some of your bigger predictions that we're going to be recording. I don't know when we're going to do it. It may be Saturday night, December 30th. I was thinking about going live just for a call-in show on Saturday night across all the channels and staying live for at least an hour or so and just taking calls and bullshitting and all that. Maybe bring on a guest. I can do that from Studio B. But I was thinking about December 29th or December 30th, that Saturday, doing a show there. When are we going to do our 2024 predictions show? And I'm also cooking something up for the days before Christmas, a really, really special night of friends stopping by and saying hello and Merry Christmas. Oh, it's going to be grand. Really is. Might have to turn it into 2 nights. I'm getting such great response. So, nice stuff happening. That's all I have for you. Just talking off the top of my head. You can call in at the regular line. Now I gave you that one. The hotline to write down. The regular line that you're going to need for the whole night. 914-200-0269. It's just general open lines. It's whatever the hell comes through. Just roll the dice and entertain us. That would be nice. You don't have to entertain, of course. You could just throw something onto the table, and we'll see what we can make of it. And that is, aside from that, is a wish for a good weekend. So I have a little bit over here from last night that we're going to save for just after the opening. But here's something interesting. A little bit more local news. Local news. This is from Stamford, Connecticut. Stamford, Connecticut representatives reject 5G agreement citing safety worries. This is 5-6 miles away. This may cause harm, they said. It was from a couple of weeks ago. I saved it. Stamford's Board of Representatives have rejected a federally regulated plan to install 5G telecommunications infrastructure on city-owned utility poles, citing environmental health concerns. 21 of the city's legislature's 40 members on Wednesday, this is the 12th of November, voted against the agreement with the nation's 2 largest wireless companies, AT&T and Verizon, despite guidance from city officials that local regulation of the matter is preempted by federal law. 5 representatives voted in favor of it, while 8 abstained, some saying that they weren't properly informed on the issue. Under the rejected pact, Stamford would have agreed to terms to install 5G conduits known as small cells on utility poles in the municipal right-of-way. If there is the smallest of chances, even the smallest, that this may cause harm, I don't see any reason why we should be passing this forward. Representative Jeffrey Stella, a Democrat, I think is that D9? Is that Democrat from their 9th ward or something? Lauren Mayer, a special assistant to Mayor Carolyn Simmons, said board members were informed that they had little authority to limit 5G rollout. That's not true. That's not true. The law department presented the Board of Representatives Land Use Committee with an extensive memorandum on the law expanding that the municipal legislatures are without authority to legislate on issues of the alleged health risks of radio frequency radiation emitted by 5G apparatuses, as this issue is the issue is preempted by federal law. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because federal law is all rooted in the Constitution, and there is nothing in Article 1 that says anything about the federal government having the authority to, in any way, shape, or form, mandate municipalities into installing radiation-emitting 5G apparatuses or any kind of telecommunication apparatus. Nothing whatsoever. again, it's just a matter of LARPing, and LARPing with considerable amount of believability, and having all the guns and the ammunition and the media and a bunch of brainwashed people who say, oh, Washington, D.C., much more powerful. They can do everything, as opposed to us over here in Stamford, Connecticut, or wherever the hell you live right now. The average lollipop sucker thinks that, the town has the ability to legislate on how much they're going to tax for paying the local DPW for street sweeping and things like that. But we all know that the 545 people in Washington, D.C. who call themselves representatives are the ones who really lay down the law for every small hamlet in the country. It's just really, it's just crazy. So in the meantime, 5G in Stamford has been thwarted. And once all the information gets out to those who just don't know enough to vote, they're going to be swayed in the right direction. So for now, they don't have to worry about that, which is a temporary positive. Speaking on a little bit larger scale and still local, we had a New York representative, this guy George Santos, who we have not really done anything on him since he's been elected. It's been problems with him for day one. He was lying about this, lying about that. He's a cross-dresser. He's this and that. And now there's something about ethics violations. Either way, the House of Representatives, run by that Johnson guy, picked up a vote, and they kicked him out of Congress. So there you have it. There's your new House Speaker of the House there too. That's nice, isn't it? That's what they will put the pedal to the metal when it comes to that shit. So managed to make a spectacle out of this guy, and who knows who comes in his place next. What else do we have over here? Oh, more. Now from the House side of things to the Senate. Republican senators asked Joe Biden administration to immediately restrict travel between the U.S. and China over a mystery illness. That's right. It's beginning to feel a lot like 2019. Oh, we're going back in time, aren't we? Rubio and colleagues to Biden ban travel from China to prevent mystery illness spread. A mystery respiratory illness is once again spreading in China. Until we know more about what could be the new pathogen, the United States must do everything possible to prevent the illness from reaching our shores, which we know is impossible. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, I mean, it's just impossible from the standpoint of, let's say that there actually was, well, okay, something had just popped up in China. Let's ban all air travel. At least you could account for people. You can health screen people that are coming in and out of the country. There's things that you can do to make it a little bit more inconvenient in a time of great, I don't know, epidemiological issues. But we have borders that are wide open. If you listen to the people at the southern border, especially people who live in San Diego or any of those border towns across Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and California, they're all telling you that people who have property right there on the border, where their backyard comes up against the nation of Mexico, they're telling you it is not hordes of Mexicans that are coming across every day. It's North Africans, it's West Africans, it's hundreds of Chinese. They're talking about people, we're talking all over the world. It is just, the gates are open. They don't even need a Trojan horse anymore. The gates are just open. So, for anybody to be showing concern about this is ridiculous, because the world is so globalized as it is that it's not going to stop anything. And it's just really a matter of finding out how much the federal government is willing to overreact to achieve one end or another that they see being a necessary goal in 2024. It's so sick. So sick. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio and colleagues sent a letter to President Biden urging him to restrict travel between U.S. and China until we know more about the disease that's spreading around out there. And now there's, of course, similar headlines in the United States about how there is a pneumonia-like illness that's going around and it's starting to peak, and this is just you'd expect to be getting these headlines this time of year under these circumstances after the last 3 years that we had to live through. And yeah, that's it. All right, let's get this one kicked off. When we come back, Matt will be here and we're going to jump into some fun. And then whatever the hell you guys want to bring to the table. The lines will be open. Feel free to interrupt all night. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Yes, indeed. All right. Friday night. Just going to try to make sure that the wheels don't come off the wagon tonight. Matt, how you feeling, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. How is it out there working in the cold in a different job? This must be a lot better than what you were doing before.
Yeah. It wasn't cold today, though. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but we've had a couple of stingers the days before. Today was actually pretty warm.
Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't bother me.
See, we're happy that you have a new lease on life. Everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Have you been reading the news?
Nah, not really. To be honest with you, I know that something big is coming. I know that. So everyone should just grab your popcorn and enjoy the show.
That's it. Every day, Matt sends us TikToks about things about the new shows that we're going to enjoy and the popcorn we're going to need to get, and nothing can stop what's coming.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It's true. Nothing can stop what's coming. I have a few things for you to take a look at with me. First of all, you heard about the Derek Chauvin guy that got stabbed
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well,
it's stabbed
22 times by this guy, a former Mexican mafia member, who admitted, this is getting dug up by Post Millennial and stuff like that, admitted that he had carried out a number of crimes while working as an undercover FBI informant. So, again, you could say, oh, it's just a coincidence that even a Fed was there waiting on the inside to stab this guy on Black Friday.
22 times.
Yeah.
And he
was
alive.
He was a former Fed. And then here's another one for you I got to show you. This is an incredible story. Truly incredible story. There was a man, ladies and gentlemen, tell the children that I need to talk to mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, and grandpa for a second. Gotta go. Gotta talk. We need a few minutes. Go, come back in a little bit. All right, you ready for this? There was a man on a flight to Moscow who was orally raped. He was orally raped by a sex-crazed woman, a nymphomaniac.
Jeez.
No, you wait until you hear this story. Let me put you on the screen with me. Hold on. Where's Matt?
I'm sure it was very brutal for him.
It was horrible. It sounded like the worst thing that could ever happen to a guy. A male, especially when you read this, a male passenger on a 5-hour flight to Russia was allegedly the victim of oral rape after a sex-crazed 29-year-old blonde woman named Valeria insisted on blowing him after departing from Antalya, Turkey. Okay? Now, on a flight from Antalya to Moscow, a female passenger went on a rampage and orally raped her male neighbor on the plane, according to Russian news outlet GETTR, which added that there were children on board. I have to imagine that there were children, all ages on this flight. The man sitting next to her in economy class, of course, this is what happens in the economy class. If you're not flying first class or business class, you're going to eventually get molested by somebody. The man sitting next to her in economy class of the Pobeda Airlines flight allegedly rebuffed Valeria's advances. So at first he says, "No, stop! What are you doing?" And then...
Why does he sound Japanese?
I don't know. "I must go back." And then he rebuffed her at first, only to, quote, stop resisting a short time later.
So then it wasn't rape.
Oh, well, I mean, he at least had to keep up the appearances that it was. According to the report, flight attendants let him finish.
Oh, wow.
Before moving the possibly intoxicated woman away, who then tried to bribe them. Okay? So first he's like, "No, what are you... Get off me." Ah, fine. And so the fact that the flight attendants allowed him... Like, what? I'm trying to think about being on this plane. And the flight attendants were like, "Okay, well," and let him finish. It wasn't something that he was looking for, but I guess they figured, well, he might as well get something out of it.
He must have needed it at that point.
Right. Here are some of the quotes from the Daily Mail. "She pulled down his trousers and committed violent acts of a sexual nature. Later, the neighbor stopped resisting." Okay? Like
violent acts?
Violent acts of a sexual nature. Later, the neighbor, the guy who was getting it, stopped resisting. All of this happened in front of the flight attendants and other passengers. Shot Media reported, quote, "Surprisingly, the flight attendants waited until the end of the act and only then moved Valeria further away. The woman fought back and did not want to leave her newly made companion."
She wanted to keep sucking them off.
I can imagine that. Oh, all right. No. You can imagine being hearing the guy. No. The whole point there is you have to sound slightly annoyed at that point, because once she's going for it, then he's just like, no. You know what? Whatever. Just let her finish. No, this is all just so silly. It's all right. You might as well just let her finish. So, the woman fought back, did not want to leave this guy. Another male passenger was deputized to guard her during the rest of the flight. I wonder if she offered him a little something too. During the flight, Valeria scratched the flight crew and smoked an e-cigarette despite repeatedly being told to stop doing so, according to these reports that were citing the eyewitnesses on the plane. The woman was then detained in Moscow following the incident. However, she told Baza Media that she has no regrets and was able to pay a fine of 500 rubles, which is about $5.62 U.S. American. $5. And that's it. And she was able to move on with her day. Everything was fine, she said. She said, "I had a good time on the plane." Well, that's a little more than that. So she could do all of that on a plane in Russia and only pay $5.62 to walk away from it all?
Russia doesn't punish the females that rape.
That's just incredible. So that's why in the title tonight we have Mandatory Mile High Club, because obviously this guy, I don't know, it's just such a wacky story. High altitude craziness.
Do you think he was some beta cuck male? Or he was some alpha?
I think he's a guy who just saw a good deal. 412, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi. So Just a quick one. Sometimes I'm shown things. I can't do it on purpose.
Wait,
but
so
my daughter.
wait, I'm sorry.
Had to have
Hold
brain
on.
surgery. And
Hold on.
spinal cord surgery. And I was a basket case, as you might expect. And I couldn't go in with her, so my husband went in with her. And while I was in the outside room, outside of where the surgery was happening, I was shown a store that I wasn't familiar with. It was called H&M. And I saw my daughter, but she was 16, and she was drop dead gorgeous. And she was standing by a rounder looking through the clothes. And I was standing there staring at her in awe because she was just gorgeous. And she gave me one of those teenage looks where they look like, Mom, like, what is your problem? And she, like, rolled her eyes like, you're so weird. And crazy. So she went through the surgery. She did fine. It was brain surgery and spinal cord surgery. And later, when she was 16, we were in H&M, and she was standing by the rounder, and I realized I had that deja vu. I'm like, oh, my God, this is what I saw when they were wheeling her in for her surgery. And she gave me the same, what are you staring, like, you weirdo, what are you staring at?
Okay, so I have got to get this, because at first, the first thing you said was garbled. I couldn't hear what you said. So when you called in first, and now I'm getting the point here. Now, you had a daughter that needed to go and have some pretty critical surgery, brain surgery, and during that surgery, you were told to go and just shop, go around the, where did the H&M?
I was
sleeping?
I was shown like a movie. I was shown us shopping at H&M, and I was shown her by the rounder looking gorgeous. I dropped.
Is this a daydream? Is this a daydream, or were you napping? Like, how were you shown this?
No, I was outside and I was praying because she was getting brain surgery.
Okay.
And during the prayer, I was shown it's fine. She's perfect. And I was shown her at age 16 shopping in this store that I didn't even know existed. And the store was H&M. And she was standing by a rounder. And I saw her at age 16, even though she was only 6 when she went in for the surgery.
Incredible. That's incredible.
So, and then it happened. When she was 16, we were shopping at H&M. It had come to our area. And I realized, oh, my God, this is what I saw when they were wheeling her in for the brain surgery.
Now, how old is she now?
She's 30.
Okay.
She's beautiful. She's married. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's doing great. She's perfect.
So now, when were you able to tell her that story and have her, like, really take it seriously? Because I know you can tell a teenager anything.
Stuff like this happens to me.
Yeah.
So I told my husband right away. I'm like, she's going to be fine. I saw her when she's 16. She's going to be fine. And we were told all kind of awful things, but I didn't believe any of them because I was shown that she would be fine.
Okay.
And then we had that deja vu thing at 16.
That's incredible. Now I would it almost qualifies for a glitch in the Matrix kind of a story that we were doing earlier.
That's what you've been talking about, this stuff lately, so that's why I came on. But this stuff happens. It's in our family, like we're weirdos.
It
happens.
Hey, you know what? Something like that is a real gift, especially since, for you to be able to see that and spend so much time during such a critical window of time in your daughter's life with absolute confidence in her safety. That's wonderful. Thank you for the call. This is a great story.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Wow. What do you think about that, Matt?
Oh shit! I guess she's was daydreaming and.
Well, she's praying. She got a vision of the future while she was praying, and I guess you can call it clairvoyance, but that's something else there. So you can again call in and interrupt us with anything from that has to do with this week, something you saw, you thought, a theory you have, and any topic that you want to revive from this week. Matrix glitch stories we can definitely do as well. I'd love to take those into the second half. I've got plenty to do here. Matt, did you see this? This is Chris Cuomo. Did you hear that he would consider voting for Trump over Biden?
Yeah, I saw that today.
Now, you can say, oh, this guy, he'll do anything to be relevant again. But we're seeing a lot of people right now who are coming out and saying stuff like this.
BLM.
I mean, let's be honest. It's just, and it makes me. And this is not totally unrelated to all the stories about China and mystery pneumonia flu and this and that and popping up right now in December.
It's the election virus.
Exactly. It is not unrelated to see everybody saying all of this about Joe Biden, and it's not unrelated. Take a listen to this.
If it's Biden, Trump, look, for me.
By the way, this is Chris Cuomo with Patrick Bet David.
If it's Biden, Trump, look, for me, again, we survived a Trump administration. Would we survive another one? Yes. I don't think there's any greater risk to America with him than with Biden. And for people who are now going to attack me and say, what are you talking about? Trump is like this crazy man. Well, look, as Patrick says, the data is the data. Nobody was trying to kill us when Trump was president in a way that they're not now. If anything, there's more hostility, and you can have reasons for that anyway.
He had the data in 2018 and 2019, this guy.
Yeah.
He had the data then, too. He had the data in 2020 when you had an instant contrast between 2019 and then 2020, where things were taking a downward. I mean, it's just
what you want. I'm just saying, existentially, I'm not afraid of a Trump presidency. Existentially, I'm not afraid of another Biden presidency because, unlike many people in America, I believe that the country is much stronger than any individual leader. We survived the Russia thing. We survived January 6th.
Yeah. So we survived the press. We survived the press and the feds. I mean, this is the whole point here. He's saying that the country is stronger than any individual person or any individual leader. The issue is, yes, it was designed to be much stronger than the central government itself. The problem is that the way that has been mutated, one person, unfortunately, can do a lot of damage. Whereas if we are living in a situation that is a little bit more in line with what it actually is to be American over here, then no, that person is pretty neutered. And then he goes on to talk about how we survived all of these things. And we survived what? Everything he listed so far between Russia and January 6th had everything to do with the federal government going rogue and throwing this shit onto and moving away and using it against us. We haven't actually recovered from that. We've just moved on to the next scam. And he was part of that scam, the whole Russia thing and whatever. He's the one telling us all that, hey, you can't read the DNC leaks because it's illegal, and you just need to take our word for what's inside of these emails. So it's just it's a guy who has a little bit less of a boot on his throat right now, but he's still not putting it together.
He's still a piece of shit.
We survived having Biden as a gaffe machine. We survived Congress going after each other and doing nothing for the rest of us. We survive these things. Are we better for it? No. Should we be doing things differently? Yes.
Oh, what a I love when they sit there and they ask themselves questions and they answer the questions to make themselves sound like geniuses. Like he's moving through a train of thought that's just so incredible. So, whatever. But I think that even Chris Cuomo sees the writing on the wall. And for everybody saying, well, he's broken clock is right twice a day. Well, out of everything he just said right there, he made about 16 statements. Maybe one was true. So, and everything else is just chasing his tail. So 914-200-0269. Who's this? You're on the air.
Hey,
Hey.
Frank, what's happening? What the hell's that airlines for the occasional blowjob rape thing? I don't know. I'm asking for a friend. I'm happily married, but man, that sounds like first class.
Yeah, no, actually, it's economy class. It's economy class. It's third.
Oh, it's economy? Oh,
Yeah,
man,
it's
I've been
third.
flying first class my whole life.
No, yeah, it's third class.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, pal? How's your new job?
I'm all right. It's good. I like it.
All right, glad to hear that. I want to puff off that spliff, man. That thing looks good, man. It looks like premium tobacco.
It is good. It's very good.
Matt only smokes.
All right, yeah, this, so how come we, how come the, what do you call it? The Republicans get rid of a Republican to make our power less. I don't know. I have more questions than stories tonight. Today is like a screwed up day. How come the guy is the guy that stabs the guy that's an FBI guy? How come everything, man? I just don't get it, Frank. But happy December anyways. We got, 25 days to, Jesus' birthday or celebrate a birthday, however you want to say it.
Well, I think you got a lot. I think you think you said a lot there, and you're right. It's a topsy. Thank you so much. That's John from Connecticut. It's a very topsy-turvy day of news, and that's I leave it to you guys and gals to tell me what you've been thinking on a night like tonight. But yeah, I never looked at the whole George Santos thing, but it makes there's absolutely no surprise that a so-called Republican majority would bend over backwards to boot one of its own members out with the slimmest majority that you can ever have outside of one. That's just it. That's the kind of compromises that are made with these creeps. I don't care one way or another. We'll see who replaces them, but it's just the constant walking around on a leash. That's what they do, those Republicans. All right, let's take another call. 214, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
This is Donna.
Donna, welcome.
And, I've called it a couple times. I love you guys.
We love you.
But I kind of have a theory for you.
I want to hear it. Go ahead.
It's so true, but it'll take everybody a while to observe it. But if people would start picking up on the colors they use, they all dress in red, black, and white.
No.
And they hat tip each other this way. And they do it in opening scenes in movies. They do it in the opening scenes of commercials, on videos, everywhere. Even Santos, when he came back out and said he wasn't going to quit, he's wearing maroon and white and black. But it takes a while to kind of pick up on it. But if people start watching, they'll pick up on it. And see, and then they'll use gold sometimes, and that's the highest level.
That is, when you look into that, a lot more deeper looks into the way that very, very prolific directors will have their characters dress in television series or movies or whatever it is. There's a lot to be said about how characters dress in the lead up to certain type of events in the character's arc, whether it be death, whether it be a major triumph, whether they are, they're conflicted about something, if they are going to betray a loved one or whatever it is. There is so much to color coordination and messaging in that respect. You're right about that. And I'd love to have a friend of mine come on to talk about occulted colors and use of color inside of television and movies, especially when it comes to how characters are dressed, costume design, all of that. So you're right. You're right. There must be something to it. And I mean, I'm wearing darker colors tonight, but you can ask Lauren. It was about a year and a half, maybe 3 years ago even. I said, I got to get rid of a lot of the stuff I had. I realized that most days of the week I was taking something out of the drawer, even if it was, a funny shirt or whatever. The cloth, the material was black. And I said, I gotta wear some lighter colors here. And I started dressing a little bit more on, the whites and the light grays and things like that. Yeah, it just started wearing on me that I always had so much black on. And I still I haven't purged it too as much as I'd like, but I'm conscious of it now too. So I know what you mean.
And I think a lot of people are becoming conscious of it. And I don't mean to intimate that when normal people wear red, black, or white, that it means it. It doesn't mean the same to us.
I know.
I have a sister that loves it. But if you watch, especially on YouTube, watch the videos. The very opening scene. Look at the restaurants that they have in all our macro cities everywhere. Their logos. They use red, black, and white. And they're just macros of each other. They've lied to us about everything. About everything. The history of America, everything. But just start paying attention. And with people, it is such a indicator to me spiritually when I see it. And no, when I watch you or watch, my husband wears, we all do. I don't see it that way. But these people, when you know who they are, they do it all the time. It's gross.
Oh, yeah,
it's gross to watch it.
I think it's a great call, and thank you so much for that. And
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Just one more. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Are you gay?
Who's gay? Who's gay? You are gay.
You are gay.
You are gay.
Okay, we love you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. I wish that there was. I respond to people on Twitter a lot with that, like especially if the Krasensteins will say something that's just so ridiculous. I try to be the first one to respond with that gif. Why are you gay? That's the only thing I want to know. I wish that there was sound in those. Okay, but back to that whole thing about the color. Absolutely, when it comes to day-to-day decisions for the average person waking up and throwing something on, the reason why I said I wanted to get a little bit more lighter colors in my life is just I actually felt the drag of that color, those dark brooding colors like black. I had so many black t-shirts on, not to mention it in the summer months. It's a lot more uncomfortable to have black on, and it just your shoulders and your back is burning, and you're not even getting the benefit of getting a tan. It's just uncomfortable. So in the summertime, I'm wearing a lot more lighter shirts anyway, just because you just want to stay cool. But so that's all personal, psychological, and fashion choices that I just paid some mind to. As far as what goes on television, what goes on the silver screen. Everything is produced for a very specific reason. Everything is produced for a very specific reason. You get into the weeds of some of the more prolific directors of all time, like Stanley Kubrick or whatever, and you know that every coffee mug that is in frame is perfectly placed and is colored in a very specific way. When it comes to politics, there is no difference than how you would set up a scene on a stage play or in a movie or for a television production of some type. Joe Biden standing before Independence Hall in Pennsylvania in 2022 or whenever the hell it was, when he was it looked like, and they had Independence Hall awash in red light, and there's red and black, and the hands clenched, and it was like a scene out of V for Vendetta.
Dark Brandon?
Yeah, condemning half of the country to being terrorists. I mean, these are decisions that are made very, very deliberately. It's just what it is. Just like traditionally fast food restaurants, they many of them will adopt red, white, yellow. Red, white, and yellow are very, very, very popular. Those fiery types of light colors, they inspire quick consumption and turnover. These are all things that are psychologically market tested. So depending on what kind of message you're trying to convey, what kind of product you're trying to sell, whether it be fast food or politics, it's which is just as nutritious, there is no doubt about it. Everything is picked out perfectly. In your private life, hey, I mean, your fashion choices. I knew people who just loved I knew one girl who would wear nothing but pink and black because she just loved the way that it played off each other and whatever. She's not setting the tone for anybody but herself. But in mass communication, it's something totally different. I had something over here last night. Matt, I think you'll like this because Henry Kissinger died. I said if you wanted to send in super chats, by the way, you can send them in right now. Quite frankly, superchat.com. I'd love to read your thoughts onto the record. We'll be getting to those on the other side of the intermission. You can send over some Rumble rants, Rockfin tips, and then there is the native gold pills on quitefrankly.tv and Foxhole. I want to read them all, and I want to get a lot in. Oh, I forgot to... Well, it looks like we're going to have one more night. Anybody who sends a super chat to quitefranklysuperchat.com will be added into the Godfather raffle, super chat raffle, that I'll compile, and we will read it off on Monday. I totally forgot to tally that up today. So you have the whole weekend. It's been extended. QuiteFranklySuperChat.com, and I'll put your name into the hat. But I said last night, I said you can send in thoughts, theories, questions for Barbara, whatever it is, or you could submit a joke to the show. Well, the only one who sent a joke to the show was my mother. My mother. And Matt, you want to hear this?
Yeah, I do.
She texted me, and she said, hold on, let me get this out of the way, put this on up, good. She texted to me, she said, hey, here's a joke for the show. I heard it when I was a teenager, so I'm thinking it's probably around 1970. President Nixon was looking out of his window in the Oval Office and noticed that there was something written in the snow. It read, impeach Nixon, written in urine. Well, Richard Nixon called the FBI, he called the CIA, he called everybody he could. They came back an hour later after investigating, and they said, sir, we have some good news, we have some bad news. The good news is that it's Henry Kissinger's urine. The bad news is it's Pat's handwriting. That's Pat Nixon, his wife. So I said, he's like, you think about it for a second, you're like, wait, what does that mean? Handwriting. Oh,
she was holding it for him.
She was holding his dude. Ribbity-dee. So, ribbity-doo. So there was my mom's contribution to the show last night. I'm glad it came through. I'd like more jokes sent to the show. That's what we have. All right, so Chris Cuomo's out of the way. Take some more callers over here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Here we go. 818. What's going on? Is this Hawaii?
No, this is Burbank, California.
Oh, okay. Oh, the 80808. That's right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Burbank.
This is Norm, Hankton Alien Surfer in the chat, as you guys know me.
Oh, hell yeah. Good to have you on.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've noticed this trend of AI Pixar movie posters have been going around. Have you seen those?
Yes.
And Disney's getting quite pissed off about them, actually. But I was wondering, a request to anybody out there that can do this. I'm still learning the software, how to do this. You know, they have Matt seen the AI rendering of him against the third graders?
Oh, yes, of Matt against the third graders?
Yeah, I was wondering if somebody could do a poster, a Pixar poster of that, of that against third graders.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
So,
that would be fan. Hey, Matt, did you see that picture?
I did.
People really took to that, and it puts it in perspective what you claim to be ready to do to fight thousands of 8-year-olds.
It has to be done if Trump needed it.
You know, Alien Surfer, are you in the Gilded by any chance?
Not right now. I am. I can log into the Gilded later.
Well, I just didn't, because I was saying if you had a thread, a master post of some kind that had a lot of those Pixar movie posters that everybody's been using as a meme format, you should definitely send it my way, and we can look at a few of them in the second half when we're at least not on YouTube, because I know that some of them are really racy. So I would, but anyway, here, like for example, Matt. Hold on, wait, Matt, you'll see this. I just saw this one right here. Look, Matt, Disney's Pixar, Adolf.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're doing shit like that.
They're really branching out.
I know.
Actually, they're not making it so easy anymore. So you have to actually download particular software to do it. They used to have online generators that Disney's like making them stop them.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They've been very, very pissed off, and they have gotten like I'm saying, racy. Like there's some stuff I would just, I would just save for the private chats you have with your friends, and don't even laugh about them in public sometimes.
I think on behalf of China, they're kind of pissed off about some of them. So
yeah.
So,
well, anyway, thank you.
Pretty mad about Winnie the Pooh, but
oh, the Winnie the Pooh one. I remember. Yes, yeah, I remember that one. Well, there's a couple. So I gotta now I have to go find a master post somewhere and see what's good enough to bring on the show. But thank you for the call, Hang 10 Alien Surfer. It's great to have you on.
Yep. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, bro. There's the alien from Burbank. A lot going on there. Remember, everybody, you can call in. The special hotline is still on. It's still up. The Inside Information Hotline, 914-369-1236. That is if you have inside information that the world needs to know about. It's very exclusive stuff. That's what we have. Now, in the other side of things is a little bit more the glitch in the Matrix stories. I have that. We had a great call before we can get around to, and we got around to, and we can do this in a couple of seconds. But we're toward the end of the first hour, so let's take a couple more calls. It's Friday after all. 219, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, John here.
John, how are you? Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Matt. Good to see you too. Hey, you were waxing nostalgic this morning about the old Christmas songs and such, and it made me think about all the songs that we hate at Christmas. Like the Mariah Carey and Feliz Navidad, and that one that Paul McCartney did.
Yep.
I think his country would really come together with another horrible Christmas song, like maybe Lizzo comes out with one, or somebody else just brings us together with just a really bad song that everybody can hate together. And if there's one out there that you can think of, I've been racking my mind of who would just be the worst.
That's an interesting.
You got any ideas?
That's an interesting approach. It's an interesting approach there to try to find how can we unify the country, and if this time, if this Advent, this time of Advent in the country, and we're leading up toward Christmas now, if we can find a Christmas song that is actually so bad that it brings together both believers and non-believers, people from all the political spectrums, that we are united in our disgust of this Christmas song. What would it be? And has it been created yet? I don't know. But
I don't know either. I'm going to be listening though.
Absolutely. You got to keep your ears open. Thank you for the call, John.
See you, brother.
Here's the thing about that John just brings up. If you're trying to unite the world through everybody disliking a really bad Christmas song, it can't be overly religious. It can't be insulting to the religion. It can't be complimentary to the Christian religion, the faith, because there are people who would like, it has to be so down the middle, discordant and uncomfortable to listen to, that everybody dislikes it for mostly all the same reasons. That does not trigger some people's bias. How do you do it? Is it possible? I don't know. But that's a really interesting approach. Can we bring the world together through the common dislike of something like a Christmas song? Paul McCartney got close. Stupid song.
You don't like that song?
Hate that damn song.
It's a big hit, bro.
Well, it's Paul McCartney. He could shit in a box and it's going to get radio play. And between you and me, I really think that that John won the Christmas song competition.
What John won?
John Lennon's, So This Is Christmas. And it's just pretty much a anti-war, a protest song. But I think that I think it's better than, even though they have Yoko screeching over a choir of children in the back. You always can tell when that rat voice is squeaking through. Anyway, 914-200-0269. Call in. Let's hear your rat voice. See how you're feeling. And then we have the glitch in the matrix stories that I want to get around to a little bit later. Matt, have you ever had that?
Well,
we were talking about times in your life where something happened that was absolutely inexplicable. You could not explain it. I'm not talking necessarily paranormal, though. I think some people would say that they
a Matrix thing.
Like a Matrix thing.
That's funny because you remember you mentioned that. You remember Joe Lawler?
Yeah.
I was at his house once, and his screensaver was the Matrix thing, and I looked at it like that. And I was just like, Joe. And as soon as I said that, his mom was like, Joe. That was kind of weird. That's one thing I could think of.
You know, there's something somebody had submitted something along those lines. They said that there was a time in their life that they were driving in their car. They were singing a certain song,
and it comes on the radio. That happens to me all the time.
No, it was even a step further than that. They were singing a song. They went and the radio was off. They turned the radio on, and as the radio is turned on, and the cabin of the car just fills with music. It is not only the very same song that they're singing right there to themselves a cappella, but it is the same line, the same tempo. They are completely in line with the song. Like it's not even like, okay, you're singing a I don't know, a Papa Roach song. I don't know why I bring them up. You're singing Papa Roach or something like that, and then all of a sudden you turn on the and it's the same song. Wow, imagine the possibility of that. But it's not just the same song and it's different verses or choruses. You are exactly on. This one person that wrote into me said that happened, and I was freaked out for months because it's just so much more improbable.
It is improbable. It's a once in a lifetime thing.
I know. Yes, it is. Hold on, what do we got here? What do I have? I thought I saw a... Wait a second. I thought I saw a familiar number call in. But I missed it. Let's see. Let's take one more call for the half. Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, this is Problematic Will. What's up, Frankly? What's up, Matt?
What's up, Will?
What's up?
Yo, so I got a little theory here, man. So
okay.
We heard that they were opening up the federal lands to have these like tent cities or whatever, and put like the migrants.
I heard
in these. All right. So what if the national parks have always been a place where like the Nephilim can like kind of live in their natural habitat, and they have the ability to, abduct and eat or do whatever kind of experiment they want to do on these people. And, they're just pushing them there. Because back in the day, like years and years ago, these people, they were thought of as gods and they were offered as sacrifices. So I'm thinking, they could be doing that. And then it made me think about the whole idea of, space being fake. That's been thrown around. And the fact that, that movie Don't Look Up, everybody saw that, right? And Hollywood, they be giving us the predictive programming. But what if it's really Don't Look Down? Timothy told us about all the deep underground military bases that they be having these, creatures and hybrids and all these. And so what if it's really they've always been here? It's not really about space. It's about really what's going on under the earth. And, they're just making it a little bit more easier with these people going into these the federal lands, and that they pick them off, and they might not have as many people looking for them like that, or the whole missing 411 thing.
You know what?
You got an influx of people. It's like, well, ain't nobody gonna worry, and they can just go ahead and have they could do their whole thing.
That
was my thinking.
Will, I didn't even think about, I never in my mind thought about Nephilim and this being just food and a gravy train for them. When you brought up the national parks and I was seeing where you were going with this, the first thing I thought was, well, what is the best way? What would be one of the best ways of getting rid of as many people as you can who already are have no papers and nobody even really knows that they exist. You send them off to a national park and just have them disappeared into some portal.
They'll just disappear.
I mean, you think about all the people who are disappearing. These seasoned outdoorsmen who are disappearing mysteriously inside of these national parks all over the place. What would happen if you just bring a whole bunch of foreigners who don't know anything about anything? And they're just blipping out of existence. Where do they go? I don't know. But it would be one hell of a way to dispose of a lot of people that you suddenly want to find another place for.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
And again, it's the centrifuge. They tell us what they want us to know. They tell us the direction that they want us to look. But really, in actuality, the other hand, we're not looking at the other hand. The one hand is pointing this way, but what's really going on is what they're doing with that other hand. So it's like you take what they say and take a little, it's slanted one way, so you got to kind of reinterpret what they really mean and what's all happening. When you look at all the stuff that's together, it's like, okay, you can see kind of a little bit maybe what the thought is, but who knows? It's just a hypothesis.
What?
But the whole thing about looking down, I mean, I've read a lot. We've all seen a lot about a lot of accounts about things going on underneath of the ground, and I think that's what it really is. I got a friend of mine, and I can't just say it like 100%, but I'm like over 75% being like a flat earther, bro. Like, I'm more swayed now than I still got a lot of questions. But even looking at the Book of Enoch and what that put out there, it's just like, man, my mind has been blown with the stuff that I've just been learning, just relatively recently. But I just got a lot of questions. But I know what they be saying is lying, so it's like you got to try to find what the truth is some kind of way. But
I'll tell you.
I love you, Frank. I love you, Matt. Happy Friday, y'all. Merry Christmas. All the love to the Franklies out there, and y'all hold it down.
Thank you, Will. I hope you call in again before Christmas. But thank you for this call. This is one of those calls that you can build a whole show on. I'll tell you. Thank you for this.
Yeah. All right, man. Peace.
Later. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have always been a lot more interested in Hollow Earth, and I remember not too long ago. I'm trying to look for it now. That there was an article that came out that's talking about how inner oceans have been discovered that could actually account for more water than that is present on the surface of the earth, and that started going around, and people are like, it's Agartha, it's real, and the first thing I thought about was someone like Brooks Agnew, who's very interested in actually going and exploring that. So, and there's another example of looking down instead of looking up. I tend to love to look up. I think the stars and the night sky especially is beautiful, and there's a lot to be learned from that. I am not. I'm willing to listen to anybody that talks about their theories about the shape of the earth or what's going on, but I haven't been really swayed one way or another. All I do know is, and I do agree 100%, is what we have been told, mostly, for the most part, is all bullshit. And you just never, especially what's going on underneath our feet, that is one thing. And the national parks, it's a great story, because I saw that story too, that there's a lot of talk about setting up migrant camps, essentially refugee camps, relocation camps inside of national parks. These things that they should not be nationalized at all. They are property of the states that they reside in. But to think of that, the first thing I thought about was David Paulides. And I would love to, that's another thing, if I had a David Paulides coming on the show sometime like tonight, can you imagine if we had David Paulides lined up in the second half tonight? First thing I would say is, Mr. Paulides, what do you think about the idea of putting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of people who are alien to this country, who have no identity to our, no identity, essentially, who are here illegally and are just being shifted around and moved like, pawns and poker chips What do you think about putting all of those foreigners inside of these areas that are already so, beautiful, majestic, and definitely there's more than enough room, but there are a lot of mysteries that have not been solved yet? And how much danger do you think people are in from just going and never coming back? Who the hell knows? Now, as far as that being Nephilim food, man, that takes it another level deeper. And we can go deeper on the other side. We're going to do some more glitches. I have some meme stuff that I want to do with Matt I think he'll like. Maybe we'll dip into the Babylon Bee. We have a whole other hour. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can join us for the whole other hour over on Foxhole. That link is in the description below on YouTube and Rumble and Rockfin. The direct links for Pilled Foxhole are right there. And I share them across all the socials, quite frankly, as well. So that's on Truth and Gab and Twitter and elsewhere. And if all else fails, you can't find that for some reason, or if it's not working for you for another mysterious reason, it should all work just fine. You can always just go to quitefrankly.tv, which is also powered by Foxhole, and press play. There's no paywall there. There's no strings attached. There's no holds barred. It's just press play. And again, this episode will be uploaded in its entirety later on tonight. Last night it was up before 11 o'clock on podcast, on Rumble, on Rockfin, and BitChute. And but just so you know, like I said, you can wait for that, but there's nothing like live. You can't call into a rerun. Get your name on the air, get your voice on the air, get your super chat read on the air. Quite frankly, superchat.com, and those gold pills, keep them flowing. We're going to read all of your Rumble rants on the other side too, and hopefully taking your calls. So don't go anywhere except to Foxhole or quitefrankly.tv. We will be right back in a flash.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to
press the like button. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to intermission.
We'll be right back.